guys, hope you are well. Welcome to this episode of the Christian Women in Business video podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a few awkward things and just what's happening, what's going on. So I was having a chat with a friend the other day who runs a fairly decent sized small business, and they're having to make some changes. One, to stick with like the current times and where times are heading, and then just to be able to offer a better service to their customers. They're making some really big, hard decisions in their business, and it's been a really, really challenging season for them. So you might be finding yourself in this position too, where times are changing. It's actually ridiculously expensive to run a business in Australia. So all our American friends, doing business in Australia is very, very expensive. So having to think about what can I do in my business to keep it going, being the main one, to be able to deliver a great service, being a second one, and yet still serving God as well amongst all that. So this friend is Christian, like full faith, full on, for God, and includes God all within their business. Has employees and customers that aren't Christians, but themselves, you know, very tight on their values. So he and they have been making some really tough decisions, and like endless amount of nights praying to God. Sorry, Lucy's just down here. Hey boo. Figuring out what they're going to do, what's going to be the best way to move forwards. And it's put them in a position that's it's a really hard position, and basically to keep going, to keep being agile, to be able to offer all the different things that they need to within their business model, they've had, and to be most resourceful and hold good stewardship within the business, and everything into an account of, you know, you've got, well, I'm paying staff, and as harsh as it might sound, are these staff doing their full hours? Like, are we giving them enough work to justify paying them full-time hours? Is it worth, sorry, just need to lose something. You can say hi to everyone. You can say hi. Hi, boo. You say hi, yeah. Oh, good girl. Good job. So looking at the whole business, where are inefficiencies? Where are people being paid full-time hours that aren't necessarily being given full-time work? What the normal things, like what subscriptions can you get rid of? Like what we're paying for that we don't use and we don't need anymore. So just plug in any leaks within the business to start off with. That's the first move. And then the second move has been, okay, what are we going to do with the staff that are full-time but are not necessarily getting full-time work? So I thought I'd go into all of this because it's been a really interesting journey. There's been some really interesting conversations, and just the journey as a business owner, like you having to go through that, and some of the difficult decisions and keeping God in the center. Like, I think it's really important to discuss. There's a lot of stuff around online and on social media that's about, you know, building a successful business and, you know, I'm going great, everything's building up, but no one really speaks about the real tough times of, you know, what do you do when you need to make big decisions? So I think it's a really important conversation for us to have today. And the steps of like going through our businesses to make sure we are being good stewards, keeping agile, making sure we're still providing a really good service to our customers, and real value, and how to be able to offer more in a more efficient way. So yeah, the first two were, okay, like what leaks do I have in my business? Be it looking through your books, what am I paying for that I don't really need anymore? And just really, I guess, like pruning down on those. Pruning down on the stuff that you don't need anymore. Are we actually using that software? If not, do we really need it? That kind of stuff. Second is everyone, like all your team and all your staff, being given enough work to justify whatever set hours they have got. And if not, then what other skill sets do they have that they can maybe help out in the business in another way? So can they be working on other things as well as what their job is? Can you make it really flexible and really diverse, that, you know, each team member can do a few different things in the business? It's not just the one set of tasks or systems or whatever it is. And then the like absolute last resort, and the one that all business owners probably dread to think that they have to do, is actually needing to let go of staff because the time given isn't justified with the amount of work that they've been given. So there isn't enough work on for that type of skill set or whatever it is. So that's probably like the hardest thing, I think, as humans, especially when we really care for our staff and our teams, is having to make people made redundant. I had to do it last year. I didn't have any Aussies that were like full-time staff. We've still got our small team that's all over the world. And our after COVID and everything else, our membership base basically halved. So I'm going, okay, I need to make some decisions. I need to readjust. Because we just need to adjust for this season. And I know a lot of people that have gone through seasons where they've grown and grown and grown, and then, you know, they've had to just pull back. Something's happened, COVID happens or whatever, and the cash flow goes down. And, you know, you can only do what you can do as a business owner. We trust God, we have faith in that. And, you know, as much as we have faith in the seasons of growth, we have faith in the seasons of pruning too. So for me last year, I had to look and go, okay, what do we not need anymore? I got rid of a heap of subscriptions. Some we were using, and I just found different ways to do it that were free, which have worked out fine anyway. And then, okay, so what we're doing each day in the business, like, can we, what are we making? Am I making sure that all the contractors that I'm paying have enough work to do? So I did have to make some tough decisions, and I had to say, look, guys, I'm gonna have to, you know, bunker down. There's nothing there for me to pay you. Like, we've lost half of our cash flow. So I had to let staff go as well, or contractors go as well. And it's hard. You want to be able to provide, and you want to be able to look after your people. I know I do. Like, one of my values is to look after my people and value their time as much as I can, and pay when I can. And so, yeah, I had to make some really tough decisions. Are you ready to go down now? And this person and their team and their business has had to make some really tough calls too. And we've been running Christian Women in Business now since 2017. I've met a lot of different business owners, a lot of different industries, a lot of different people. And everyone has been like on an up and then a down and then an up and then a down. And it's just learning the flow of business and learning that sometimes, even though it feels like you're being pruning or you're having to make big decisions and let people go, I've often found that that's an opportunity to learn of how you can do things more efficiently in your business and how you can become more resourceful. And that doesn't necessarily mean also everything falling back on you either. I think we need to be really careful about that. And one of their solutions was, instead of having a full-time staff member that could only do like one skill, was to move to a more freelance contractor role where they're not paying them full-time, but then they can offer a lot more different skills from a lot more different people, which I thought was really clever. So even though it's really hard at the time, and you love your team, you want to look after them, we do have to make those big decisions. And I think once we've made the choice and once we've let them go, and like you've gone through that grief period, then it's an opportunity of, okay, how can we learn? What can we do? How can we adjust? How can we be more efficient? And then how can that set us up again for the growth that is to come? Because things go up, go down, and what go down must go up. It's just the flow and the way of business goes. And it doesn't even have to be a cash flow thing that can create these like imbalances, or these ups and downs, should I say, not imbalances. And that might be that you're growing so fast that you know, your systems and your team just aren't keeping up. And that might be okay. We need to just like put on the brakes for a minute, just reassess, readjust. How do we do things better? Do we need to add more stuff on, or do we just need to do things in a better way and work out what that better way is? And then, you know, get back on the wheel again and start turning it over. So there's not just cash flow that can affect these decisions. It can be like lots of different things and lots of different, I don't know what the word is, situations or scenarios that can cause these big decisions to have to be made. So I encourage you, if you're in the season of needing to prune and you're having to let go of people, I just want to let you know that you are not a bad person. As business owners and as leaders, we have to see the bigger picture, and we have to take into account a lot of different moving parts. And sometimes we just have to do stuff. Sorry, Lucy, just wrong time to laugh. Sometimes we just have to do stuff that is hard, and we have to make decisions that are hard, but it's going to be able us to keep going for the long term, or it's enabling us just to ride this season out. It doesn't mean you don't have enough faith. It doesn't mean that God doesn't want you to stop running your business. It's just the ebbs and flows of how business works. And he's going to look after you. And you might find that after the pruning, like, you become really fruitful and you were bigger than you were before. It's just trusting the journey and trusting the process. So don't give up. You are not a bad person if you are going through that, or if you're thinking, I'm having to make some decisions that are really hard. Sometimes it can be the letting go that is the biggest blessing. If it's time, and it's time to let something go, let that natural flow go. You're not a failure. If you've learned something through any process, system, journey, business, whatever it is, it's not a failure. It's just a lesson in life's university. Like, we're always constantly learning. And I always think faith is a journey. It's not a destination. And that's exactly the same with business. It might be that you need to let go of this thing that you're doing now to move on to the next thing. And the longer you're holding on to the old or the current or whatever you might want to call it, the longer it's going to take you to move into that new season or do that change or whatever it is. I know a lot of business owners that have just had to call it quits and had to go and get a job. COVID was hard for a lot of people, really hard for a lot of people and a lot of businesses. And people have just had to make that decision. And I know from running CWIB, I haven't judged people for that. You got to do what you need to do that's right for you in your family and where you are in your mind and headspace right now. It doesn't mean that you can't come back to it. It doesn't mean that you can't embrace new opportunities. It might be that you just need a season of clocking on at 9, clocking off at 5 or whatever it is, and just like going home and not even having to think about anything. If that's what you need in this season, go for it. Like, only you know, like in your heart, along with God, what you need to do in this season. And we don't need to justify to people while we're making the decisions. I think like when we're managing our team, obviously making some really hard decisions, we do need to communicate really well with our staff and with our team members. But if you are making decisions at the same time, you don't necessarily need to justify either. And especially when people start to gossip or they start to judge, you do not need to justify yourself to nitpickers at all. So I want to encourage you, you're doing a good job. If you need to make the decisions, make those decisions. Make the decision, like that's the biggest thing, and then just do it, and then just learn. Remember, everything's a learning process. Learn from it. What can I learn from this to apply for next time? So that was just the interesting conversation that I thought I'd share with you, and how if you are going through that, you are not alone. Other people are having to make really big, hard decisions, and they are doing it. And their businesses are surviving because of it, or they are surviving even after the big decisions. We personally are I've got a really busy week this week. I don't know if you can see behind me. You probably can't, my chair's in the way. But I am getting ready for the retreat next week. So that's going to happen on Monday. So I'm recording this on the Monday before. We do have one spot available, but Redo's closed on Wednesday, which is the day that this video is going out. So we sorted out all the food. It's going to be so yummy. We're just getting all the little bits and pieces together now. Our retreat letter is going to go out soon, which is super exciting. So lots of busyness happening this week, lots of prep. Excited to be picking Megs up on Sunday. We're going to do some training, we're going to do some cooking. I'm going to get everything packed in the van, and then we'll head down on Monday as well. So that's super exciting. Oh, hi, Boo. Hi. Aw, I'll take that in the middle of a video. Yes. Boo can't come down. It's not pet friendly, so I'm very sad about that. Yeah, so lots happening this week. Trying to get in early to do this video or this podcast so I can then spend the week doing things that we need to get done ready for next week. And then after that, we've got our first Jesus Coffee and Co-working session, which I can't remember what date it's on, but it's in March. So that's an in-person event that's going to be in Southwest Sydney in the Macarthur area. And it's just a day to come together. We'll have some Jesus time. I'll lay out like a little, or it'll probably end up being really big, grazing table. We'll have some Jesus time. We'll have some time of just learning from each other and discussions, and then we'll spend the afternoon working on stuff that we just need to get done in our businesses, or spend the afternoon talking about important business stuff like questions that we might have and just brainstorm together. So I'm really excited about that. So if you want to come along to that, go and check out the events page on the christianwomeninbusiness.com.au website. And then, yeah, conference tickets are on sale as well. So that's not until September though, but super excited about heading up to the sunny coast for that. I think that's it, isn't it, Boo? I think that's it. Well, I hope you have a wonderful week. It's been a pleasure to chat about all things business with you again. I look forward to serving you this year, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.